Almost a decade later, people on the internet have been trying to figure out what happened to Kenny since he went missing, and it's probably due in large part to the strangeness of the case. I mean, it's very intriguing, but I also think it's because of his larger than life personality and his almost childlike interest in the world that really spoke to people. People he had never met were just kind of moved by his spirit. Las Vegas Metro Police believe that Kenny died by suicide, but they've said that until they find a body or other evidence, this is very much an unsolved active missing persons.
There's a strange silence that sometimes follows fame. One day a voice echoes across millions of screens, alive, bright, unstoppable. And then suddenly, nothing, no final post, no goodbye. Just absence, stretching out like an unanswered question. It's the digital version of vanishing into thin air. And in a world where everyone's life is supposedly documented, these disappearances feel even more impossible. But they happen, and when they do, they haunt. Let's start in the desert. Kenny Veach wasn't just another YouTuber, he was an adventurer, someone who wandered into places others only dared to Google. His channel was small, intimate even. Just a man, his camera, and the endless heat of Nevada's wilderness. But one upload changed everything. In a video filmed near Nellis Air Force Base, Kenny mentioned something strange. A cave shaped like a perfect M, somewhere deep in the Mojave. He said it felt wrong. Like the closer I got, the more my body vibrated, he recalled. That video went viral. Thousands urged him to go back. He did. That was the last time anyone ever saw him. Search teams scoured the area for days. They found his phone, his camera, his backpack, everything except him. It's as if the desert had decided to keep its secret. Some say he found that cave again and never came back out. Others insist it was something darker, that he'd stumbled into something he shouldn't have. An underground testing site, or worse, a hidden passage the government didn't want anyone to see. But the truth, no one knows. His disappearance became one of YouTube's most chilling mysteries. And here's the first side fact. Do you know that the desert around Nellis Air Force Base is one of the most restricted and heavily monitored places on Earth? Satellites, thermal scanners, drones. It's a region where even a misplaced hiker can trigger a military alert. So how did an entire man vanish without a trace? The internet still debates it, dissecting every frame of his videos, every pause, every uneasy glance, as if the answers might be hidden in the pixels he left behind.
And something about that cave just spooked me. Out of all the caves I've ever gone in, this one just made my body vibrate. The closer I got to it, the crazier my body felt. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to go in there right now, but I'm coming back someday. And I talked to some people on YouTube, and I told them, hey, I'm coming out here, you know, because they kind of called my hand on.
Out to try and find his cave the second time, and he didn't find it at all. For whatever reason, I find that kind of iffy, because if you found it the first time, how did you not find it the second time?
Maybe he was like tripping on something, he thought it was there.
Then there's Jenna Marbles. Her story is different, but no less haunting. Jenna was the internet's golden child, a pioneer of YouTube comedy before influencer was even a word. Her energy was chaotic, genuine, and human. She was one of those rare creators who made the internet feel lighter. And then, one day, she vanished too. Not into the wilderness this time, but into silence. She deleted years of content, apologized to no one in particular, and said she was done. No scandal, no meltdown, just exhaustion. A quiet exit from a platform that had grown too loud. The internet tried to move on, but her absence left a gap, a kind of phantom limb of YouTube culture. Even now, years later, her name still floats through comment sections like a memory that refuses to fade. If Kenny Veach disappeared into mystery, Jenna Marbles disappeared into peace. But both vanishings share the same eerie note, the moment when connection turns into void. Because that's what happens online, isn't it? When someone disappears, the silence feels personal. It's not just about missing content. It's about missing a person you never really knew, yet somehow felt close to.
What happened to Jenna Marbles? When you think of the greatest and most impactful people in YouTube history, Jenna Marbles is probably one of the first people you think about. And yet now when you go to her YouTube, she hasn't posted in almost 2 years. On top of that, her Instagram and Twitter have both been deleted. So what actually happened? Jenna's career actually started all the way back in 2006 when she worked at Barstool Sports as an assistant to Dave Portnoy.
But the story gets darker. John Jones, also known as Nutty, was a creator who lived for animation. His videos were clever, unsettling, and creative in a way that made you think he might be too good for the platform. He mixed satire with surrealism, dark humor with real pain. He was trapped just 400 feet from the surface of a cave, so close that rescuers could hear him breathe. John Jones entered Nutty Putty Cave one cool November evening in 2009, expecting a quick family adventure. Instead, he'd stumble into one of the most claustrophobic disasters in modern caving history. And no one could believe how it ended. Nutty Putty wasn't a cave for beginners. It was a maze of twisting tunnels, so narrow you had to exhale just to slide forward. John squeezed into a passage he thought led to the birth canal, but it wasn't. It was a dead-end drop, an 8-inch wide shaft that turned vertical, upside down pinned at a 70-degree angle, his arms locked beneath him. Rescuers raced in. They tied ropes, drilled pulleys, whispered reassurances down the dark tunnel. "We've got you," one said, voice shaking. But the rock fought back. Every pull made the tunnel crumble tighter. Here's a shocking fact. Nutty Putty was so small, rescuers couldn't even fit power tools beside John. At one point, they tried using car jacks designed for sedans to widen the tunnel. And another, rescuers once used a vacuum tube to feed him food and water because his body was too twisted to swallow normally. For over 24 hours, John hung there, upside down in total darkness, the weight of the earth crushing his chest. Then, in a sudden collapse, the pulley system failed, the rope snapped, and with it, the last hope of bringing him home. Today, Nutty Putty Cave is sealed forever, entombing John where he fell. No rescue, no recovery. Just silence under the Utah soil, a chilling reminder that some places aren't meant to be conquered. Because sometimes the earth doesn't give back what it takes.
He freed at some point in time today?
Freed is a relative term, Shauna. He was pulled back a little bit to a more comfortable position where he was in more of a horizontal position, but there was still 16 feet of that tight tunnel he was stuck in for him to get out of before he would be truly freed and be able to leave the cave. Now, a piece of equipment broke at that time. He has since slid back into that original position with his head down at a 60 or 70-degree angle, so a very uncomfortable spot, and rescuers very worried tonight.
And that brings us to the final disappearance. Spy Kitten TV. At first glance, her channel looked like countless others. Commentary, political discussion, occasional dives into conspiracy theories. But there was something about her tone. Methodical, unnerving, and confident. She wasn't chasing trends. She was chasing truth. Then, right as her viewership began to spike, she disappeared. No new uploads. Her old videos were wiped clean. The only trace left behind was a cryptic post from a fan claiming she'd been silenced. People began digging. Some swore she'd been threatened. Others said she'd gone underground. A few believed she'd been forced to stop after uncovering something real, something she wasn't supposed to talk about. No one could confirm anything, but the timing was strange. Her final video discussed surveillance, government data collection, and digital privacy. Then, she was gone. Her fans flooded Reddit and Telegram, trying to locate her. No answers. Her channel remains frozen in time, like an abandoned building left standing in the middle of a digital city. All of these stories, different people, different paths, share one terrifying thread. In a world obsessed with being seen, these creators vanished in plain sight. And that's what makes it so disturbing. Kenny's last hike into the Nevada desert, Jenna's quiet decision to disappear from fame, Nutty's descent into silence, Spy Kitten's digital erasure.
Big community that is actually making a difference in this world. It's really awesome to be waking some people up. It's really awesome to make videos that actually make a difference in this world rather than just dumb down the world, you know? So it's awesome. I also wanted to tell you guys that I'm not going to be showing my face too much on YouTube just because right now I don't have a camera.
Each story reflects a different kind of disappearance: physical, emotional, psychological, and digital. YouTube isn't just a platform, it's a reflection of us. The desire to be seen, to be understood, to matter. But sometimes that same spotlight burns too bright. The camera turns into a cage, the audience into pressure, and the algorithm into an unblinking eye. In the end, the disappearances of Kenny, Jenna, Nutty, and Spy Kitten reveal something more than just mystery. They reveal the cost of exposure. There's a moment in every creator's life when the silence feels louder than the applause, when the constant need to upload becomes heavier than the joy that started it all. Maybe that's why Kenny kept walking deeper into the desert, searching for something only he could feel. Maybe that's why Jenna shut off her camera before it broke her spirit. Maybe that's why Nutty's unfinished animations still linger online, trapped between creativity and despair. And maybe that's why Spy Kitten's name still haunts search bars, her last upload time-stamped like a gravestone. We think of the internet as forever, but it's not. It forgets faster than we realize. One day someone's feed is full of life, the next, it's gone, and all that remains is a shadow of what once was. The truth is, people disappear every day. Some into deserts, some into silence, some into anonymity. And sometimes the scariest part isn't that they vanished. It's that no one noticed until it was too late.